I'm just imagining like we come home and she just pulls on a rope and the entire room changes from home to occult operations.
Yes, yeah. Flips the table up and it's like a map with photographs and notes and red string all between them.
It's like, welcome to Paulcom.
But because you'd like, I mean, they were on strike and you got time off work, but you know your foreman and whatnot being like, you really need to get back in there and put some hours in. So that was on the Tuesday, I think we did our last one. So it's the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You've just been working long shifts in the mine to try and get in the good books again until this Sunday, where you've all agreed to and arranged to meet in the house that you now own, the Corbett house, to try and collate your thoughts, get them down on paper, and you know, share your interactions with each other about what's happening thus far. So Mildred and Paul will arrive. Paul, you'll have Agnes in tow at the Corbett house.
I just watched them disconnect.
And of course, you meet at the time you're supposed to meet at, and the others are not there yet.
So Agnes, this is a fabled home now. Hopefully you can see it and it's no hallucination, right?
No, I could see it, Paul.
Right. And inside should be Mildred, and he just has a look around to see if he can spot her car.
Yeah, I go out to meet them. Hi, Paul, and this must be your wife. Hi.
Indeed. Agnes, this be Mildred. And yes, this is the same Mildred who that thing took her husband.
I'm awfully sorry for your loss, ma'am.
Yeah, it's been very stressful.
So Paul tells me you've been helping with his investigations and helping these young women.
Yes, well, we just went to Rum Island, which was a bit of a adventure, shall we say.
Oh, you didn't go to Rum Island, did you, Paul?
No, Paul shakes his head. No, I came back with Catherine. That's the woman I told you about, to make sure she got home safe, and I couldn't justify spending more time up there than I needed. I needed to get back to the mines. Just
yesterday morning, Paul, as well, you received a letter from Catherine thanking you for your help and saying that her husband's turned up, but he's died from a disease and he's been treated in the Glasgow Royal Infirmary for it.
Well, I mean, immediately, like, Paul would be bringing this letter as well as the other paperwork that he's acquired with them.
Alright, so if you're going to share that, I will share it with everyone.
Yeah.
All players. And Paul hands you these notes from this journal. Mildred. You can find it under the Glasgow handouts.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
You share your notes with Paul, I take it?
Or nope, just I've not done anything, Paul. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you've already got these. Michael Thomas journal and the Torn journal.
Was there not a note from Rum Island? I don't think you put it on there, but
The Michael Thomas journal, the Torn journal. There was a map of the island, but you don't need that anymore. I'm not sure other one note. You found Mrs. McCrin had letters, like personal correspondence, between her and Michael Thomas. But it was mostly, like small talk, personal things, talking about how well they're doing in their day-to-day lives. And then he'd send her like poems and prayers that she could use and recite to help her get through the day and stuff. She was obviously a student or a follower of his to some extent.
ooh, so the evil James Cullen then.
Who apparently is dead.
Eek.
Yeah, so if you just want to fill each other in character.
Do you want to start first, Paul?
Of course. So, you see, Mildred, we took Catherine and we took her about to try and find her husband, Paul Marr, and had no luck. Couldn't find him. Had looked at his office, went to his house. Eventually, things transpired. As we had a look, turns out there was some shady dealings going on. He was making incredibly late night visits to both the hospital and the prison. And I'm not talking late visitor hours. This was 11 at night, the final dram kind of times.
Oh, that's not so good.
And also on this journal, and that's the Paul Marr's notes he'll reference to, there's this talk of the dark cult and darkness. Now, if I was to take a glance at this Arkwright person, I think there might be two feuding parties here. There's this dark cult in the hospital, and this family of darkness that we already dealt with up in Mallaig. Now that's my own interpretation of it. It's these two feuding groups and we are stuck slap dam in the middle of this mess.
Oh goodness, and especially because we have the stone as well, Finlay has the stone, so that's going to cause trouble, isn't it?
Oh, well, looks like Cian's arriving.
Hi, there's Window.
Hey.
Oh no, it's not Cian, it's just some random punter walking by, never mind.
Hey, Cian. We're just taking it in turns to tell each other our ordeals. So
No worries, no worries. I might be a little bit quiet because folks are running around.
So Cian, we're now on the Sunday. I think you came back from the island on Thursday. The last couple of days you have had awful, terrible nightmares. Great black things haunting your dreams, basically.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Would you have spoken to Father Campbell in the days between, Cian?
Oh, 100% yes.
So in your handouts under the Glasgow directory, you'll find a clipping, a newspaper clipping, and when you go to visit Father Campbell, he's asking you, when are you guys, going to be ready to go visit my friend in Glasgow Cathedral? He's like, the situation there is getting worse and worse. He says, this happened yesterday, and he gives you the clipping from a Glasgow newspaper.
The Ripper clipping or the Glasgow Herald?
The Ripper clipping.
Okay.
The Glasgow Herald's the older one. And then, and then on the Sunday, this is when you've all agreed to meet up at the Corbett House to just get things down and talk about what you've experienced.
Well, let's just face it, we arrived in the three of us arrived in the Rum Island, and it was just really quite empty apart from the people that lived in the house, in the actual sort of house estate. And strange things started to happen, as in people started dropping like flies, and then what's called Keen went out, and then we were talking to this woman called Mrs. McCrimmond, who was like the housekeeper, and she wasn't what she seemed. So but she ended up dead, which is not so good. But we ended up following you, Cian, up the hill where there was a astrological circle, and it was all shining, and we ended up there was this black mass, and there was what we think was Michael Thomas, all burnt and slicing himself and dragging Cian up the hill. So that was quite scary. But we eventually he eventually got killed, and then Cian turned a bit crazy, and we took turns trying to knock him out so that he wouldn't turn into a crazy demon. So sorry, Cian, for whacking you with the edge of the gun.
Speaking of which, that I believe maxed out my health thing, so I don't know if we want to do a gut check or what. Because you said I had like 3 other things, and I literally just have the 3 empty boxes left.
Yeah, if you could roll 2 dice for me. You're athletic, aren't you?
I'm sorry, what?
You're athletic, aren't you?
Yeah, so 2 dice?
2 dice, yeah.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
That's not good. Okay, so any of your boxes you have that are pain, they'll be healed by now.
Okay.
Do you want to spend the downtime you've had recovering a physical wound or recovering stress?
I imagine wound's probably the worst one.
Okay.
Because I think the last 3 that you said I had was basically 1 of each, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've got more stress than anything else, but I'd rather get rid of the wound, I think.
Just give me a second here. Recovery. Okay, so your wound will take a month to heal properly.
Nice.
Also, we managed to retrieve a magic book, and that's at the university. I sent that to the university. So
Well, I know I definitely had the ring, and then whenever I tried to show it to him, that's whenever he bit me. But like, that was. Yeah,
So would you take
yeah. If Kian kind of came to his senses in enough time, yeah, I think he would have at least made sure to grab the ring.
Some form of bitter, like, "Hey, you bastard, I'm taking this, you biting bastard."
Something like that.
so I was gonna say, Kian, can you tell us your story as well?
I know I said that Kian looked at the revelations of Glaaki, but I don't think I took it. No, I don't think so. Out of character, I do, but I don't think it would make sense at the moment, so.
So what happens, Kian? You know, you left, you know, to search, and then, you know, how did you end up unconscious?
Well, if I remember correctly, you and
Finley.
that's right, yeah, you and Finley left to get the police. I stayed with the burned man, trying to ask him questions, but I couldn't get anything really intelligent out of him. The head lady of the house offered him water and offered me tea, and I think that's what did me in. I don't remember too much else other than waking up, and I guess that's whenever I was attacking you. I don't quite understand what was going on. It was me, but I wasn't doing that. I saw everything that was happening, but I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, you had the black eyes. Your eyes were demon-like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that sounds about right. It was like looking through a bag over my head and not being able to really do anything about it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think what was pretty crazy as well was when we were in the estate, and you know, when we were sleeping, and we had we had the same dream. That was quite creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
About the crystals and it all going dark, and that was nuts.
Yeah, has anybody else been having that dream again? Because I definitely keep getting that dream.
No, I haven't had the dream.
Paul will be shaking his head. He's not had a dream like that.
Is Finley coming soon? Is he? He should be here by now, yeah?
So I imagine it's sort of like looking back and we see a Finley sort of glitching in and out of existence. It's just like, he might be coming, he might not. It's hard to tell. It's Schrodinger's Finley.
I imagine the character Finley is much like the player, and he's not proven to be reliable as far as timekeeping goes. But what other clues do you have between you all?
So I was thinking back about, when we were at the church and then we had that note of the astrological sign, and it was the same, the astrological circle was the same one as in the Rum Island. So I'm kind of concerned a little bit for Father Campbell, as he has had the book all this time. Have you noticed if he's acted strangely?
Have I noticed if he's been acting strangely? I don't think we've been back for that long. Just a couple days, right?
No, if you'd visited him and he said to you, he said he's not had time to go to Glasgow because he's been really busy just with day-to-day church things.
Right. But so far, nothing out of the ordinary.
He doesn't look particularly strange or stressed or anything like that. He kind of just looks like a normal, how he normally does.
No. Campbell's a strong-headed man. He's got a good head on his shoulders. As far as I could tell, he's keeping himself busy. Nothing like what we're dealing with at the moment.
Do you guys know what we're dealing with?
Does Keen have the ring on his finger?
Oh God, no. It's he just keeps it in like a pocket or something.
What did the ring look like?
So it has the appearance of like an iron ring, but you can see when you look at it, there's like thin veins going all through it of a different kind of metal. It's almost like silver, but it's far more chrome reflective looking. But there's no inscriptions or sigils on it. It's perfectly smooth.
Yeah, I will say Father Campbell's also quite concerned with some doings happening down in Glasgow. Apparently the newspaper's calling it the Glasgow Ripper. Was Glasgow where we saw the thing in the vaults?
No, that's Edinburgh, the city.
The city that you registered.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
You were at Glasgow, Paul. Did you see any strange going-ons?
Other than the shady characters, I didn't see anything specific in those. But in this journal, and that's where, in the handouts, it's Glasgow and it's Paul Marr's notes. I found this. And not only that, I got a letter this morning from Paul's wife, Catherine, the woman that we saved up in Mallaig, that apparently he's no more. He has befell the infection that's going around. And that's where, he'll also point out the Glasgow Herald from the 5th of March article that talks about this infection. I have a suspicion, and this is just a very, very, very casual suspicion because it's a bit coincidental, that I think this Dr. James Cullen potentially might be this Ripper.
So do you think, do you think, Cian, that Michael Thomas was the one that wore the ring in Rum Island? Or do you think we're agreed that that was Michael Thomas?
I don't know. He seemed to react to the ring, but I don't know if that was... It certainly wasn't the Reverend anymore.
I think because we had seen a painting with him wearing that ring. So, That's why I was saying maybe that was Michael Thomas. I think we're probably going to have to go to Glasgow next. What do you all think?
Paul will sort of look at Agnes, who's also there, by the way. Paul's wife, Agnes, is here.
So
Agnes, this is Cian.
Yeah, Agnes has been, as you're passing the journals and clippings, bits of papers around, Agnes is like holding on to them all and like comparing them all as she's reading through, trying to make sense of what's happening and catch up to what everyone's talking about. And she holds out the Michael Thomas journal notes. Paul, you think there's 2 of these cults? This journal looks like it says the same thing because he's talking about another cult in it. But what's with all the addresses on this one? Because this address here in the middle, is this no the house we're standing at just now?
Sorry, where is she pointing at?
Corbett, 13 Blackford Hill Grove, Edinburgh, which is the property we're at, which is in
Yeah.
Michael Thomas's journal.
Well, there's the Bullow Estate in Rome, and where we are here in Edinburgh.
Maybe we should go to the Turning, the 108 West Bow
So
in Edinburgh.
you might remember that was the address you visited previously, because that was the apartment that you were told Michael Thomas was staying in before you went to the vaults.
Where that one room was, we heard coughing, wasn't it?
That one.
Oh, lovely. And the woman who didn't think that Michael Thomas was any kind of bad? Okay, and yeah, alright.
I knew she had something. So was the woman. She had something. I think we pay her a little visit again.
I'm just saying, if she ever offers to give us tea, I'm not drinking it.
No, don't accept tea from an old lady.
I imagine Cian's probably started only drinking stuff that he knows where it came from.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
He's like being Mad-Eye Moody, where he basically has his own drinks and he knows exactly where it came from.
Yeah, starting to develop a healthy... Yeah, he's starting to develop a healthy paranoia.
Not healthy enough, going by the fact he drank that tea.
It's getting healthier.
And Agnes will speak up. Yeah. So Paul, is the Glasgow address here though, is that no the guy you were talking about?
Aye, Arkwright. That's the name of that Paul Marr was working for, his client for the past 6 months. And just...
So what's this other one then, the Elgin address?
if Paul will look at the other two since they're the ones that got the journal. Was there anything else about Canary Castle? Take that as a no.
Oh no, sorry. Sorry, what's called my screen just kind of went out, so sorry. There was sorry, I'm just reading through my notes. Just give me a minute.
Well, that's fine, Swindle. Do you want us to have our outdoor voices here? I mean, if you want, we can start screaming at you. But there's an easier option. You can always right-click our name and just max all of our volume, so we can speak it normal, but it sound like screaming to you.
Oh no, you guys are fine. It's just, background noise for me. Although if you'd like to start screaming, that's fine too. I don't care at this stage.
Would you say it's time to panic? Yes, I would.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read over my notes and trying to figure this out.
Yeah, it's fine. I expected we would have pauses here because there's a lot of stuff to read over.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, I had mine yesterday about now yesterday, whereas you guys had it 2 weeks ago.
I don't know if it lets you drag handouts in the screen. Hang on. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so you can drag the handouts onto the screen to arrange them. If that's easier to look through them.
Oh, you mean like having them side by side?
Yeah, so you can just click through and try to make links. So I was going to suggest the way cops obviously do it is they construct a timeline of events. I don't know if that makes it easier to work out what's happened in what sequence. But the goal is obviously, just to figure out, what you want your next step to be.
Yeah, that might help, to be honest.
So the Alexander turning, he had done multiple murders?
Yes, he was, if you recall, he was the member of the church in Edinburgh that took the blame for the murders associated with that church.
Plus, there's also the torn journal that the burned man seemed to have been the author of. Clearly something went wrong, and the burned man claimed to trapped whatever it was in the mountain.
Did anyone talk to Dr. Alan Robertson?
Was he not your university guy that was deciphering the stone?
Oh, yes, so he was. No, Dr. Alan Robertson's the guy in the Glasgow hospital.
Oh, yes, sorry, he's mentioned as part of the health board, yeah. No, you haven't talked to anyone in Glasgow, apart from Paul.
I've not been to the hospital, but
I'm just thinking as well, like, when we were in the lake and then we were in Rum Island and everything was dark. And, you know, that sort of connects as well with the fact that, like, they didn't like the light, did they? So I know that's not a lot to go on, but I'm just saying.
Don't go to the basement. The stairs are out for one thing. Another thing, it just seems nothing good happens down there.
Can somebody
You
say?
know, oh,
Yes,
Henry!
Wow.
Woohoo!
I think he just had you like not quite in and not quite out, Alan, and that's why I thought if I kicked you out, it might actually
Right.
confirm
yeah.
you were gone.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it just seems to have been one of those days today, honestly. Jeez.
Yeah, no worries. You were just kind of glitching out in the corner for us. That's all right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we've barely started. We're like just investigating just now, so.
Comparing notes.
I'm going to say, Finlay, so it's... You've left Rum Island on the Thursday, I believe. It's now the Sunday, and this is you've agreed to meet up at the Corbett House to discuss what's happened.
Cool.
And in the time... do you have any damage that you took, Finlay?
I don't think I had any physical. I think I had a stress, but I don't think I had any physical.
Okay, do you want to spend your downtime relieving the stress then?
Yeah, if possible. Yeah.
Okay, so you can knock off one of your stress.
Cool. Thanks.
You find, Finlay, not when you're out doing your stress and your fishing, that seems fine, but when you're around the town centre in, is it Falkirk you're in?
Yep.
When you're around the town centre, there's definitely a guy that's kind of tailing you, and as a crook, you know when a detective is a detective and not dressed like one. And today, when you
Right.
get the train into Edinburgh, this guy is on the train with you on the other end of the carriage. When you get off the train, he gets off the train, and he's definitely tailing you through Edinburgh on your way here. Do you want to try and lose him before you get to the house?
Yeah, I think I might give it a try. Do we need to roll for that?
Yeah, roll 2 dice for me. Yeah, so you think you've lost him, at least. You can't see him. When you make your way up to the house and you see everyone else sort of standing at the end of the driveway, standing around talking.
Cool.
And obviously for the rest of you, you see Finlay coming along the path with his walking stick. Right, I'm gonna go pee if you want to share info with each other.
I was gonna say, like, did we speak to Edward Ferguson?
Was he the one that
Because-
was retired, or?
I'm trying to think that if it was him that was retired or not. I just can't think back about that. But he was the one that the mysterious note came from.
Yeah, I remember seeing the name. I'll check my own notes. I've maybe got something to say if he was the retired one or not.
But I think we didn't have his full name, but maybe he was the one Was he the one that we went to Malag, and he was it? I can't remember. Who was it that we spoke to? Was it Edward Ferguson?
I think
it might have.
Yeah, I've got a note here that says Ferguson untrustworthy. So
Yeah. Yeah, Edward Ferguson was the guy that spoke to me. Remember when I was talking to about my husband, and he didn't really care about how he was missing?
yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
I think he's dodgy. Remember, like, there was that sort of dodgy eye thing. I was like, that's probably why you've got in your notes that.
Yeah, I think that would be it. Looking back, I think it was Inspector Carruthers was the guy who took retirement. Although we couldn't find anything about his whereabouts, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I was there for Edward Ferguson.
You did find Carruthers. He was a retired guy, and you went to visit him one time. And he was the one that pointed you in the direction of the apartment at Westbow.
I think we need to do a wee bit of digging about Edward Ferguson.
Seems fair.
There's just so many notes, isn't there? And I'm trying to just like skim through them, but if you skim, sometimes you miss the information, don't you?
Okay, so I mean, what are some like hard facts that we know? So EF needs some investigating because there's something going on there, right? You know there's something in the vaults that was left there. Do we think the burned man was Michael Thomas?
I think so, because remember the painting with the ring? So, you know, from the two, well, it wasn't in the last one, but in the previous one. So
one question. When the Birdman definitely took the ring from me, right?
Yes.
Whenever he
bet your finger.
Okay.
Bet your finger.
Okay, so he oh, okay. Yeah, so he took the ring from me. Did he put it on, or?
He held it, if you imagine like Gollum with the one true ring.
Okay, fair enough.
What about you, Finlay? Do you think that was Michael Thomas, or do you think he was just someone caught up in it somehow?
I mean, I think it makes sense that he would be Michael Thomas because of the sort of scrawlings in the note seem to suggest that he was not of like a sound mind, but at the same time, I could see there still being like a little element of doubt there. I mean, I think it's probable that he was Michael Thomas, but I'm not 100% certain.
So we're thinking he probably was, but there's a chance that he's not, and it's someone else.
Yeah, I wouldn't be totally convinced of it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think he might have been Michael Thomas, but you know, I'm definitely not going to be surprised if we go further on and then there's Michael Thomas, and you know.
Sure. So, then Paul, how do you think Michael Thomas relates to this cult information that you've discovered?
I want to think that he's probably one of the cult leaders from up there. Like, there's just so many different cults. It's hard to put a figure on this. My own interpretation, I'd like to think he's the dead body from what you've told me, but I mean, if all we have to go by is, well, a name in this journal, you know, pointing towards the Michael Thomas journal, and a dead body, I mean, possible. I'm guessing you didn't have an image of him like right next to his name at all, so we could have like a positive identity, right?
I think also for the fact of the two cults as well, the possible two cults, is kind of mind-boggling as well, isn't it?
So when Paul's asking, sorry, did you have anything you could ID Michael Thomas by? You did find a painting.
Well, didn't the painting also have Michael's face carved out of it, or
Scratched out? Yes.
okay? So we still don't know Michael Thomas's face.
The only clue was that the guy in the painting had the ring, the same as you found on the burned man.
Right. So far, that's the only like link between the burned man and maybe Michael Thomas.
So he was either Michael Thomas or he had something to do with them anyway because he had the ring. And you know there's multiple cults. Michael Thomas is probably a leader of at least one of these cults. So if there's multiple cults, what are the cults?
Are they all trying to achieve one big goal? I mean, is the house something to do with it? Is it a stone from my leg? Is it something to do with the disease happening in Glasgow? Do we know anything that's happening up in Elgin?
Maybe we should go to Elgin first and then go to Glasgow.
Does anyone else have a thought about that?
I deeply apologize. I was distracted. What was the?
We're discussing where our next goal to be. So we've got 2 places that we could potentially be, because we know 3 of them we've kind of already been to. It's either Glasgow to investigate the disease and the dead bodies, or it's to this place, this castle in Elgin, because it's listed amongst all of these cults. But
Right.
so far, we've not looked much into Elgin or heard much about Elgin. Yeah, we've heard a fair bit about Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow seems to be getting worse.
I still think maybe go to Elgin first and then go to Glasgow.
I think the only thing with going to Elgin is it'd be more of a time commitment. But, yeah.
The other side is if we're thinking of going to Elgin, all we've got to go by is this castle. Whereas if we're going to Glasgow, we have names, we have places, we even have times and locations.
Yeah, and we have somewhere to stay in Glasgow as well, so...
Yeah, I think, to be honest, my vote's for going to Glasgow.
I think our first point of contact is contacting Dr. Alan Robertson first, before contacting this Dr. Cullen person.
Father Campbell also has a friend at Glasgow Cathedral that you could contact.
So lots of reasons to go to Glasgow, very few reasons to go to Elgin.
But that said, the fact that you don't have any reasons to go to Elgin might be a reason in itself to go there first. But I mean, that's completely up to you guys.
I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, our first clue would be going to Elgin, but after that, what do we do? Where do we go?
Well, we have a castle in Elgin. It's not specifically the town, so it's...
Yeah, I think we go to Glasgow and just rule that out first. So.
I mean, I'm not exactly excited to deal with a serial killer or get infected with some sort of disease either, but... clearly something's going on down there, and if we can stop it, then...
Will you be taking Agnes with you, Paul, if we go to Glasgow?
Just on cue, there's a scream from the house.
Oh boy.
If it sounds like Agnes, Paul will immediately, if there's someone between him and the house, he will shove them incredibly forcibly and run straight towards the scream if it's Agnes.
You barrel past everyone, charge through the doorway into the hall, and you can see Agnes like hobbling down the stairs.
Immediately rushing straight to her.
Fuck out of my way, you big oaf.
Yes, Midia, and sort of steps away, out of the way.
The bloody deed crow upstairs in that bedroom.
I'll get it dealt with, and of course Paul will immediately go up to go and get rid of the crow.
No wonder you can't sell this place, the window up there's still smashed.
Kian's just staring at it and be like, ah, right, the dead crow is the broken window is the reason why this house doesn't sell.
So what's the plan? What shall we do?
Probably sounds like. I mean, if we go to Glasgow and kind of like try to keep a lookout for any further connections to Elgin, something that might give us like a more definite line of inquiry before we commit to going there.
Yeah, that's where I'm leading.
Okay, to Glasgow it is.
We have several places to go in Glasgow. There's at least 3.
Yeah, I'm going to paste the Father Campbell's contact at the cathedral. It's the Reverend Dr. Walter James Grimmond.
Whoa, he's got 2 titles.
Well, let's speak to the Reverend first, then.
So, given this is a Sunday sort of morning, do you want to head off just right away, catch a train to Glasgow?
Seems fair enough.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Only takes you about an hour 20 minutes on the train to get to Glasgow. You can easily be there before lunchtime. I think you've all been to Glasgow Central Station before. So once you come out of the Central Station, you know you can get trams and trains across the city, or you can walk to a lot of places in the city centre. Going to the cathedral or the hospital, there's a 15-20 minute walk at the most. Paul, obviously you know that Paul Marr's office in Bedsit was at Anderston, which is like another 10 minutes in the other direction. Or if there's somebody else you want to go, it's up to you.
Did Mildred ever pay Kian the money that she said she would?
That's true. So I give Kian the money that I owed him.
And she did offer interest as well.
Yes, I did indeed. You have.
She is
that
very
with
interested
interest.
in giving you the money.
Well, she feels bad, okay? She like hit him at the back end of a gun, so I think she feels pretty awful.
Oh yeah, and Kian, just for effect, when he asks for the money, will totally milk that for every bit it's worth.
I'm sure he will.
I mean, speaking of that, when you're going to Glasgow, I take it you're not taking like your weapons with you because you're not going to walk around with those in the middle of the day, are you?
I'm just going to say probably Paul will probably still have his shotgun wrapped up. I mean, he did take it with him last time to go to Malik, and he was walking around Glasgow with it.
I think depends on how well Cian can hide his. He'd probably try to take it with him as well.
No, I think Mildred might take hers as well.
I feel like the odd man out, but I don't think I would take mine into Glasgow. I think I would be worried about.
You've got a sword in your cane.
I think Mildred's at the point like she don't trust anybody.
I mean, so walking around with weapons in cases or not is likely to get a copper pulling you up and inquiring to what you're doing.
Okay, well I'll not have, but I'll have my tools. I'll have my sort of archaeological tools.
Well, I was going to say, unless you want to take a precaution of disguising the guns as something else.
Yeah, if I could do that, I think that'd be what Cian would like to do. He doesn't like the idea of going without his gun now.
Maybe carry some golf clubs in between them. I've been watching too many Soprano type movies.
I mean, mine's just a sawn-off. Surely that could fit in my toolbox. Or toolkit.
Yeah, I mean, you could shove it in like a toolbox, wrap it in a bag or something like that. Just so it has the appearance of being anything but a weapon.
Yeah. That'd be what Cian would go for.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take my tennis racket.
Because...
Well, I can just whack.
So you can hit someone with the tennis racket.
I don't know how much damage you can do with a tennis racket, if I'm going to be honest with you.
If anything, it would make the monsters really confused. Like, did this woman really just hit me with a tennis racket?
I mean, if you'd have like a golf club, maybe that might be.
Oh, yeah. Actually, did I not do that in the other one? Yeah, let's go with the golf club thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like your husband is going to use those.
So you're taking a single golf club?
Well, maybe a few golf clubs for each of us. So we have...
Yeah, like a golf bag, I mean.
Yeah.
So you're going to walk along with 3 guys and you're going to be carrying the golf bag full of golf clubs, Mildred?
Well, obviously I'm going to give the golf bag to Finlay.
Yeah, I mean, I probably looked the part, with
your walking
stick and golf. But yeah, God, I'm going to get beaten up by someone walking around Glasgow like this.
Yes, so I mean, you'll all be well aware of the...
I was just inferring to the flashlight.
You'll all be well aware of the reputation that Glasgow has, particularly some areas of Glasgow at this point in time, with the infamous razor gangs and such. So yeah, I think you'll be doubly so motivated to take some sort of armament with you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, okay, so when you arrive in Glasgow, where exactly do you want to go to?
I mean, I would like to go to the Glasgow church, meet up with Father Campbell's friend.
The cathedral,
that seems
like a good idea.
I'm going to, first of all, stick this here because Cian, I mean everyone else probably knows the layout, but so the cathedral sits pretty much across from the main hospital, the Royal Infirmary, and then behind and around the cathedral is the necropolis, which sits on a hill. Cathedral seat there goes west, and that takes you to like the city centre proper, where the central station and all the rest of it is. And this time, the surrounding area is a lot of worker houses, tenements, and like factories, smelteries and things like that, forges. Do I have an outdoor cathedral here? Indoor cathedral. So Glasgow Cathedral, it's Sunday. There will certainly be a service taking place. It's not mass because it's not a Catholic cathedral. But it will be jam-packed with people.
I suppose then wait till afterwards?
Is anyone like a super enthusiastic Catholic? Because I mean, I don't know, this being Glasgow, going into a Protestant cathedral, you know, having just come from seeing our friend who is a Catholic priest, I don't know, this being... Would it have been quite sectarian in the 20s?
This was just after the Irish War's independence, so I imagine sectarianism was at an all-time high. I mean, if you're not... If Keen doesn't speak, he's fine. And if he speaks, there's a 50-50 chance he'll be fine.
Yeah, just watch out for anyone asking what your last name is.
Glasgow Cathedral sits right on the edge of the East End, so once you go any further east than this, that is like Catholic territory.
Cian will remain uncharacteristically quiet for this part of the trip.
Do you just want to just hang around to the end of the service to catch the guy then?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't want to, like, draw too much attention, so that seems like the natural thing to do.
So you just hang around, and I think service ends about 2 PM or something like that. So it'll be mid-afternoon by the time you're able to, you know, catch... The place empties and you're able to actually go up and speak to this person. So the Reverend is a very softly spoken man, late 50s, he is grey haired, it's quite short. He's clean shaven, which is a little unusual in this time period. And the thing you'll notice him, but first of all when you go to speak to him, is how bloodshot his eyes look, and the big bags, dark circles under his eyes. And he's just finishing talking up to some of the patrons who are leaving when you approach him. Have you brought the book with you, because that was the thing Father Campbell wanted you to take to this man?
Yeah, I think we would have brought it with us.
Who's carrying the book? The Liber Ivonis. And Mildred, are you bringing the other book with you as well?
Yes, I'll bring the other book.
And what was the book called you had?
The Not Necronomicon.
I think I would probably have the Liber Ivonis. I think I was holding it originally. Maybe be a bit reluctant to carry it, but you know, I would probably bring it.
But hey, you're carrying everything else, you might as well.
Yeah. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I went through with it.
Are you also bringing the stone with you? The black stone that you had?
Of course, he's holding it between his teeth.
Good dental floss material.
I'm unsure about that. I mean, I guess we would have brought the books, but would we have left the stone somewhere for safekeeping, or would we have brought it?
I think we'd probably have bought it, because where else would we have left it?
Yeah, that's fair.
So is the intention here to offload all
think
these artifacts?
Yeah, I think like everyone brought something. Like, I think like I brought a book. Callum, you could bring the book. What's called Finley brought the stone, and Keen brought the ring. So that seems logical.
All right.
Good morning, Reverend. Could you look at all of these weird and probably unholy items for us? Thank you. Despite the fact that you clearly are having a really rough time, can you have some more? Can you handle some more mental stress?
Yeah, I think we should be prepared to take the stuff away with us, just in case, you know, because I mean, looks like the guy's been through a lot. So.
Okay, so when you approach him, what do you want to say? Or is Keen doing that?
Oh God, no. Kian is being very quiet. In fact, he's more motioning for Finley to talk.
Yeah, Finley, it's on you.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Reverend, sorry to trouble you at this difficult time, but we're friends of Father Campbell, and we were hoping you might be able to help us with the certain inquiries. Did he tell you that we would be coming to speak with you?
Yes. You're not the Irish lad, are you?
Not me, no.
No, of course not. Yes, so Finley then. Mr. Young?
Finley is fine, thank you, Reverend.
Yes, Finley. Yes, he told me. I'm glad you could come. So he waits till the last person leaves. The doors are obviously left wide open. It takes you to the rear of the cathedral off to the side where it's quieter. And there's a little wooden table where you can lay things down. So, Father Campbell said that you had a tome that you'd discovered.
Yes, I'm afraid we've actually brought two with us on this occasion. I wish I could say this was under better circumstances, but we, given the recent events, we've had to carry everything around with us for safekeeping. So, if you'd care to have a look at these.
Oh Lord! So what's the nature of these tomes?
We've recovered them from the possession of some rather unsavory characters. We believe that they were running a cult of some sort, perhaps maybe even more than one.
He takes out a pair of thin wire spectacles, puts them on, and starts to look over the covers of the books. And then very gingerly opens one and flicks through the pages kind of slowly and considerably, with a considered manner. Yes. Yes, these are... It's a far more manufactured in nature than the other tome. So to what extent are you and your friends here educated in the occult?
Really, I think we know a little through Mrs. Potts's connections with the university, but we're not terribly well versed in the subject at all. Anything that you could tell us to better understand the situation, we would be most appreciative.
He closes the book and looks at Mildred. You're Mrs. Potts, I presume, then?
Yes, I am.
And which of you was it that uncovered the tomes? What was the circumstances that led to the discovery?
We came upon these in one we found it in the possession of a lord in Rum, and the other is recovered from the basement of a disused church in Edinburgh.
Yes, the occult church, Father Campbell informs me. And have any of you spent extensive time with these tomes? Have any of you studied them at all?
No, I've not studied them at all. So
That's probably for the best. If you wouldn't mind bringing these down to the crypt, I have something to show you.
Of course.
Have I done a separate thing for this? Like there's a stairwell at the rear of the cathedral that goes down into the crypt. It takes you down, and there's a large arched wooden door bolted with iron, and he unlocks it with 3 keys. Where is the crypt? Let me just grab a picture.
Spoopy.
It's spooky, isn't it? We always end up going down somewhere, don't we? It's just the best.
I'd worry if we were heading up somewhere, because that would be a bit non-Euclidean.
Right, yeah. No.
So he takes you down into the crypt, and it's all these large ornate arches. It's quite a wide open space. There's still little windows just sort of top of basement level to let some natural light in. So it's not the darkest, spookiest place you've been before. It's very well swept. It's very ornately decorated with fine masonry. There's an altar sat in the centre, decorated in a rich red and gold cloth. The cover depicts the crucifixion of Christ against like a white and gold backdrop. And there's sigils of tears on the pillars all around it in black and gold. The altar has a peculiar feature to it. There's a little tube just at the bottom that drains into a little silver dish. And very, very occasionally, a drop will just drop from the tube into the dish. He takes you past this altar, up to the back where there's a large wooden chest. And he unlocks this chest with another key. And he takes out this large black looking book. It's very old looking, doesn't look nearly as neat as the books that you brought. And he touches it just with the tip of his fingers when he's picking it up, and he lays it on the table beside it. I don't suppose Father Campbell's told you about the black book here.
Nope.
It was uncovered some centuries ago. I'm not sure which member of the parish it was. He opens up the cover. The cover is made of a goat skin, and these pages, and the pages all look like yellowed and crooked and misshapen and very, very thick. These pages are not made of parchment, they're made of some kind of tree bark. And the writing, as you can see, and the writing is all these jagged triangular shapes as if they've just been like scrawled into the bark of it, are of a language of which I have not met a scholar who can decipher. And he closes the book over. Alongside these tomes that you've brought me today concludes the extent of our library on the occult, but clearly these are novels of some value to those who would practice. He takes you over to the side of the basement. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear it just now, but at night you can hear them scratching in the dirt, tunneling and trying to get in here to this holy place. And I believe they're after this tome.
What do you hear scratching?
And when he looks at you this time, he takes his spectacles off, and there's just a hint of madness in his eyes. And he says, "Demons, of course, my boy." What other explanation could there be? I hear them when I'm in here at night, guarding the tome, scratching and tunneling. Sometimes I can hear them cawing or barking. And they've been getting closer, although I believe the prayers in this place keep them at bay.
How long has this been going on for?
For myself, I noticed it several months ago. Right around the time that this so-called Ripper killing started in the city.
Can you not destroy the book?
I'm not sure that that would even be a wise thing to do, miss. For all we know, destroying the book could unleash something that it is holding in place, and I dare not take that risk.
Is there not anything anywhere that you can take it? You know, like another church?
As the largest and the oldest of the churches here in Glasgow, I believe this is the most sacred. And plus we have another weapon. And he goes over to the small silver dish and picks it up and brings it over to the book and taps his finger into the dish to get some of the tiny bit of moisture that's there and slathers it across the book in the shape of a crucifix. These are the tears of St. Mungo himself. That's his body in the altar there. Every so often he cries and we collect the tears, holy items that they are, and he puts the silver dish back by the altar. I believe these blessings are what's kept this tome safe for so long.
Can you maybe do that for the items that we have?
Of course, I would believe that's why Father Campbell wished them to be brought here. When these...
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say when enough tears have been produced again, I will bless him.
Probably a dumb question, but was there any sort of visible reaction to whenever he dropped the water on the books?
Oh, why didn't you roll my dice?
Oh gosh, how many?
Just the one.
Oh boy.
It doesn't look like it's doing anything. I mean, it might be.
Can I roll spot hidden to see if there's anything?
Yeah, roll my dice. No, nothing special. You didn't notice anything beyond what you've been shown. So yes, I can take these items, I can bless them and hold them here. And I believe for the time being they are protected. But whatever it is, the demons that are trying to break in here in the middle of the night, I cannot guarantee or tell how long we will be able to keep these items safe.
What do you guys think?
I think it's probably a better bet than us hanging on to them ourselves. I mean, these things seem to have an effect if we keep them around us for too long, so it might buy us some time at the very least.
Yeah, if we can get them blessed, then who knows, maybe they'll be, safer to carry with us, or...
I think as well, though, my fear is that we have them in the one place and then it just unearths something crazy.
Well, then at least we're all here to help the good Reverend here handle it, exercise it. Plus, there's the tears, apparently.
You don't sound so convinced.
What do you think, Paul?
I'm no sure if I'm honest.
Maybe if we leave the two tomes here and keep the stone with us.
I think keep the stone with us. I think the rest I think would be fine, but I think the stone, I don't know, I just think something about the fish people, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, Kane, you were unconscious when it happened, but when they were on the hillside, they made use of the blessed water.
Oh shit.
Did you feel like that had any effect?
No, I think, remember we were pouring it on the astrological circle and it made no difference. So,
I mean, Kian's not really a man of very strong faith at all. He's more or less just grown out of it at this stage, but
We could ask the Reverend if he feels that holy water would have any effect.
Of course, any kind of blessing helps ward off the evilness of the devil and his demons.
well, Reverend, we went to the island of Rum and we used blessed water by Father Campbell, and this done nothing to the monster that we were in contact with.
No offence to Father Campbell, he's a dear friend of mine, but he is a Catholic. And if you're not practicing the true faith, then of course your blessings wouldn't be as effective.
What do you guys think?
Sorry.
No, on you go.
I was just going to say I would be quite happy to leave the tomes for now and take the stone with us for the time being.
yeah, I mean, don't stray too far from the cathedral, but
Do you want to leave the ring here, or just the tomes?
I feel like just the tomes and the ring and the stone should be, kept.
yeah, Kian hasn't showed the ring yet.
Sure, okay. So the Reverend, takes the books. He will bless them time, puts them back into the chest, locks it, and takes you back upstairs out of the crypt. As you're going up there, he says, there is one more piece of information that may be important to you in your activities here. I assume you heard about the latest victim of the so-called Ripper, the demons. I actually knew the young woman. Her name was Lucy Siddons. She was not a prostitute, as they're insinuating in the papers. She was a maid. She worked for Sir Arkwright, who's a wealthy man in the city. And although I would never reveal the confessions, the trust between myself and my patrons, I think it's important for you to know that she was also with child. And the reason she was so distressed about this pregnancy, illegitimate as it was that it was Sir Arkwright's child that she was carrying.
That's a lot of information to take.
Especially since Arkwright is one of the names listed by the addresses in Michael Thomas's journal.
Did the baby live, or did it die with her?
There's no mention in the newspapers about her being pregnant or a child, so I couldn't speculate. I don't personally know any of the people involved in the investigation, so I don't know the details that she was found in. I just know that our body was discovered just around the corner at the Bridge of Sighs, the entrance to the necropolis, and that our body was badly savaged.
Do we know how far away the Sanix Gardens are from here?
Yeah, if you ask the Reverend, he'd be able to tell you. The Science Gardens are part of Alexandra Parade, which is one of the large roadways, main roads, on the north side of the necropolis.
And how, where is that in relation to the Bridge of Sighs?
The Bridge of Sighs is just south of the cathedral. It is a bridge that goes over what used to be a burn, which is now an underground stream.
Okay, well, definitely something's going on around the necropolis.
Potentially where they're hiding all the bodies.
Or something else, and Kian's getting like freaking Vietnam flashbacks to the vaults.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to ask the Reverend?
Apart from, did Arkwright have associates? Was there any other names that you can give us, contacts?
I'm not familiar with the man myself. I don't know anyone else working in his household or working for him in particular. I do know he's afflicted with some genetic disorder, a familial affliction, which has aged him terribly. And he's become reclusive because of that, but that's the extent of my knowledge on the man.
You don't happen to know anything about a Reverend Michael Thomas by any chance?
Certainly doesn't ring a bell, no.
How about Dr. Alan Robertson?
But yes, I don't really know him personally. I've met him once or twice. He's one of the head physicians in the Royal Infirmary.
And have you heard of a Dr. Cullen?
Yes, Dr. Cullen's been in the papers quite a lot recently. He's in charge of the treatment and quarantine procedures for the outbreak that's killing people in the city just now. I believe he's a man held in high regard. Anything else you want to ask or do in here?
Did you know of Paul and Catherine Marr?
I'm not familiar with the names, no.
Does a Dr. John Buchanan visit the cathedral?
Buchanan. No, I don't think so. No, I don't know him personally. A lot of people do attend service, which I don't know by name.
where would we find Dr. Cullen? Would it be at the hospital then, or do you know of an address?
I'm afraid I don't know him personally. I don't know where you'd actually find him.
Has anyone else got any questions?
I think that's covered everything I could have thought of.
Okay, so where do you want to go next?
Should we have a look at the necropolis, seeing as it's very nearby?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. What do you think, Paul Kane?
I think that's a good idea about the necropolis.
Is it still broad daylight?
Yes, it's late afternoon still.
I mean, not that it'll matter underground, but, you know, it makes me feel a little better. Yeah, let's poke around the necropolis, see what we can find.
Oh, also I informed my sister that we would all be staying at their farmhouse, so
Sure. Yes, so the necropolis extends from the south of the cathedral eastwards up this big hill and over the top of it. It's very large. It's quite extensive. There's a lot of mausoleums and altars and whatnot. The main entrance will take you across the Bridge of Sighs, which is towards the main entrance. And at this time of day, there's people walking about, just kind of taking a walk in the park, kind of thing. Some children running around playing. There's no sign that anything nefarious is taking place here.
can I roll the dice for spot hidden?
Sure. Are you studying around the area where the body was found? Or are you just looking at the necropolis in general?
Studying around the area where the body was found.
Okay, give me 2 dice. You can see like the blood stains on the ground. You know, it's kind of lightly showering, as you would expect here. But that hasn't quite washed away all the blood. So it's very clear where the body was found.
Can I check the what's called around the necropolis as well?
What kind of thing are you looking for?
Just any sort of clue, as in there might have been something left, like a note or something.
Oh, okay. Roll another 2 dice then. So in the wet, grassy mud near the edge of the bridge where the body was found, down the bank towards the remnants of the burn that still goes by before it goes underground, there's a footprint which looks a little unusual to you. It's like a bird footprint, a very large bird. The size of the footprint is larger than your hand. And it's got the 3 toes and then the rear kind of claw to it.
Are you having birds in this?
I didn't say that. I just said it's a bird-like footprint. And it's quite large
Okay.
and it's quite deep, so the thing is a fair size and a weight to it, which would make it larger than, you know, any ordinary species of bird you might see.
Just to say, I have a bird phobia. I don't like birds, so.
Would we be able to get an impression of the footprint if we pressed like a piece of paper against it, just in case we need to refer to it later?
I'm not sure paper would be a good idea. I mean, you could try and make a quick sketch of it.
Well,
Yeah,
I have my camera because I brought everything in my
Oh well,
archaeology bag. Yes.
Sure. If you've got a camera, that would be great. You know, maybe like just get a quick photo of it, just in case we need to refer to it again later.
I mean, there wasn't anything quick about the photos in this age, I don't think. So you got
Ah, well.
to set up and angle it, get the light, and take it, then go and develop it somewhere. But you can certainly take a photograph, yeah.
Is there anywhere else I should be taking a photograph of, or near the vicinity?
I think unless we've actually seen anything specific to take a picture of, that's I can't think of anything else.
What about the rest of you?
Is there any crypt or anything anything prominent that's relatively close by to where the body was found?
Funny you should ask.
God dang it.
Yes, up on the hillside to the left, which is the north. And one of the little paths that goes up goes right by a very large mausoleum entrance.
Yeah, I was just thinking that was like the mausoleum.
And you can see
Where
that...
have we seen that before?
Yes, and you can see that the entrance to this mausoleum has recently been opened. It is not locked. The chain and the padlock is like hanging loose on the ground.
Can we do a spot hidden?
Yeah, okay, sure.
I was gonna ask, what's the name on it?
You can definitely see another one of those footprints from the wet mud on the dry, dusty ground just inside the gate part of the mausoleum.
Another photo.
The name inside the mausoleum is Livingston.
Does that name ring a bell for anything that we have, or?
I'm going to take that as a no.
Yeah, I was just checking my notes, but I can't see anything. So.
I can't see anything either.
Yeah, it's probably just an entrance, not really that important, but hey. Well, clearly this is where whatever harmed the poor woman, that's where it came out of and dumped the body.
Do we want to maybe open the crypt?
I feel like this is probably something that's going to expose us to danger, but at the same time, it would probably be remiss of us to not investigate this further.
I think anyone who's at the vaults is starting to have flashbacks.
Oh yeah,
I feel like if we don't open the crypt, we're just gonna get back here at like the late at night at some point, and we'll be like.
I mean, yeah, no, 100%. This is the way our lives are. Like, this is Is there anybody watching us at the moment, or?
Nobody's paying attention to you. There's some people coming to and from. There is a groundskeeper, like sweeping leaves away, trying to keep the place cleaned up.
All right. Well, as long as nobody's looking, Keen's gonna open up the door anyways, and take a peek inside the crypt.
Okay, so you want to roll me with hidden, which is going to be intelligence.
Oh boy.
Because you're good at that. Because you're a clever boy.
Nope, I'm a dumbass.
No, I mean, there's a very obvious muddy footprint just inside the door. Inside, it's fairly dusty looking. It's dark. You can make out the edges of some of the sarcophagus, and the start of an ossuary. or just on this on the walls on the interior. It doesn't look very big in there. It's you can just see like the far wall with the edge of the daylight.
Can I do a spot hidden again? If that's okay.
You already did one for the Muslim.
Yeah, but inside.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. I mean, if you want
okay.
to go inside and walk all the way in and have a look, you could.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I think me too. I'm mainly keeping an eye out for like a tunnel or some sort of entrance, perhaps.
All right. So if Mildred, if you want to roll, and if Keen, you want to roll 1 dice just to help her.
Oh my god, my dice.
Well, Paul and Finley, what are you doing while they go inside this obviously not spooky mausoleum?
Should we go in?
Well, I suppose it's probably going to be inevitable. I mean, unless you want to keep watch outside, maybe. But yeah.
I think keeping together. Either we both go in or we both stay watch. But I
That's
suspect
fair.
both of us going in.
Yeah. I think we'd probably better. Yeah, sticking together sounds like a good plan.
Alright, so
yeah.
they go in, they start having a look around, you guys dither for a second just looking about, and then you guys walk in. You just don't find anything out of place. There's a couple of sarcophagus at the far end, an altar, an inscription and plaque for who's been buried there. There's a small ossuary, you know, the cavities in the wall where they lay the bones. Again, that's for like older relatives that have decayed and been taken out of the sarcophagus and laid to rest there. It's nicely tiled, it's green and white. There's a nice kind of diamond pattern on the tiling. The floor is black and white tiles, with a kind of marble effect on them. And there's some sconces where you would place a light or candles, and you can see some dried out flowers and candles that have melted right down around the main altar. But you don't find any switches or passages or anything like that that are hidden. The dust does seem to have been disturbed recently, but anyone could have been here with that door open. And as you're doing this, there's a rattle, as if somebody's hitting the bars at the front with a stick. And when you turn around to do that, what it is, and the groundskeeper is standing there, rattling at the bar stick. Like, hey, are you supposed to be in there?
I'm going to immediately
I'm an archaeologist.
Sorry.
Part of
Laura.
the university.
Laura.
Oh, sorry.
Keen speaking first.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was just gonna immediately drop to my knees and make like I just picked up the ring and go, sorry, I dropped this and it rolled inside.
Now you can speak, Mildred.
I was just gonna say that I was an archaeologist for the Edinburgh University and was just interested in taking photos of crypts because of the sort of archaeological digs that I'd been recently, and was interested in old mausoleum buildings that might be in connection with some of the digs that I've been doing recently. That was all I was going to say.
He just, that's all you're going to say. He just blinks twice to that rather long explanation from you. Are you meant to be in here?
The Reverend said it was okay.
Oh, alright then. He walks away.
Oh wait, that was it? Alright, fair enough.
I'll take some photos of the inside of the mausoleum.
Sure. So the light isn't good in here, but with a flash and the flashlight, you know, you get something workable.
Do we want to disturb the coffin? Do we want to open it?
Yeah, Kean's just gonna peek out and make sure that the housekeeper's far enough away that if he suddenly hears coffins, he's not gonna come running, you know.
Yeah, the groundskeeper's a little along the path, just like brushing things off to the side and whistling.
Do I feel confident that if we decide to desecrate the coffins that he's not gonna hear?
That's up to you.
Maybe like the four of us should be lifting it.
Yeah, sure, fuck it, let's go.
Paul, with you being the strongest, do you want to roll 2 dice for me?
Will do. Four.
Yes, with a little bit of effort, you managed to slide open the stone sarcophagus. There is a wooden coffin inside, and something has like smashed the lid. There's the lower part of a leg left remaining in the coffin, the rest of it is gone. The lower part of the leg is pretty much just bone and clothing.
Is there anything else in there, like any notes or anything, you know, any sort of garment, apart from clothing garment, is there anything like,
So,
you know,
give
any
me
object?
give me your 2 dice roll. Okay, there's no garments. There's fragments of clothing that the corpse is obviously buried with. There's fragments of bone. There's no notes or anything like that. There is deep scratches on the interior of the wood of the coffin.
You said there was 2 coffins in here?
Yes.
Kean's gonna try to open up the second one.
You go around to get an angle on the lid of the second one as you did with the first one, and Keen, because you're like taking up the rear of it, you notice in the gap between the sarcophagus and the wall there's like a large hole.
I fucking know it.
Oh, this is the case, isn't it?
It looks almost as if a hole's been opened up and part of the wall or the floor has kind of like fallen into it.
Can we have a look at it with the flashlight?
Of course you can, Finlay. Do you want to get down your hands and use the flashlight and stick your head in the hole?
Don't worry, Kean will hold his legs. There you go. Good man, Finley, taking the initiative.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I suppose it was my idea. I'd probably better see that one through.
You get down and look through. Do you want to give me a dice roll? I forget what your stats are. For spot hidden. What's your intelligence?
I think I have the intelligence trait, although I can't remember the actual number
Sure, so
offhand.
2 dice of you then. You've got the investigation one, I know. Yeah, so you can see this dark hole extends deeper down. It's not vertical, it's at an angle. It's kind of twisty. The edges of the hole are all sort of scratched out. They've not been made by something as clean as a shovel. And there is a single long black feather. It's not like a full feather like a bird would have. It's kind of... It's more primitive. It's as if it's almost like a quill. Like little quills coming off of it.
Can I reach the feather, or is it too far away?
Oh, you'd have to squirm into the hole just a little bit.
I don't know if I would be entirely up for that.
You could use your stick if you want and just kind of drag over.
Ah, okay, yeah, I'll try to use the stick to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
You have the golf clubs as well, just to say.
You reach in with your stick and you manage to hook it and just kind of drag it along the ground towards you. It has a very distinct odour about it. I wouldn't describe it as rotten meat, it's not that sweet. It's got more of a kind of bitter in the back of your throat sort of smell.
And you said like the feather itself has quills coming off of it rather than like.
Yeah, you know, a feather or the parts that come off either side of it are quite smooth, and well structured. This is more
Yeah.
this is more scraggly looking, like this. It's patchy and a little hard and spiky.
Okay.
See, on the outside of the mausoleum, is there any other sort of different entrances or anything like that? Can we see?
Not to this mausoleum. I mean, there'll be other ones. This is, you know, the closest and largest one to where you're standing. There is a main entrance, sorry, that I showed below that one, which is the main entrance to the necropolis proper itself, the one that's buried, that goes right into the mountainside, or the hillside. But that one is locked.
Does anyone have... Maybe we could ask we could go and speak to the Reverend to see if he could open it for us.
Maybe. Kian will still try to just to peek inside the other sarcophagus, though.
I feel as well, could we not use, persuasion on the groundskeeper?
Well, you mean you could talk to him and persuade him. You can't just walk up to him and roll a dice. Kian, what's your strength?
Oh, I'm athletic, or...
Strong?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll 2 dice for me.
Oh my god, my dice!
Yeah, you try to humph and shift this by yourself, but it becomes quickly apparent that it was really Paul that was doing most of the work there.
Okay, alright.
Well, Kian, you're still, from the head of the gun and stuff like that, so, that your strength is going to be a wee bit weaker because of that.
Yes, thank you, Mildred, for the time that you tried to bash my brains out with the gun. Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome.
What about you, Paul? What are you thinking when this activity is going on?
I don't know. Honestly, it's like, I'm not quite sure what to make of it. That's most of my thoughts here.
Well, I definitely think this is where whatever killed the poor woman came out through this mausoleum, dumped her body outside.
I also think the hole as well, he said he could hear the scratching as well. So maybe it's like a tunnel deep inside, from the necropolis to the cathedral. So...
Given the nature of what we were looking into and the hole in the wall, it seems like it may have established some sort of tunnel network, perhaps even. Maybe it's able to get in and out from various places in the necropolis.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think. Although, like I said, the Michael Thomas journal does mention specifically Arkwright and the Sanix Gardens, which is not very far from here.
We could go there first, and then maybe in the morning we could, see if the necropolis is open at that time. If it's, being a Sunday, it might not obviously be open, so...
Yeah, I mean, we could always come back and ask the Reverend if we know, if he recognizes the feather at all, if he knows anything about what might have dropped it.
Yeah, I think definitely going to the Sannock. I think definitely, like what Kian said, I think we should do that.
Sure.
So he's want to get out, go over the hill, over to Alexandra Parade and to Sanix Gardens.
Yeah.
Sounds like one.
So real quick first.
Yep.
How about the hole? How wide was that? Was that a fairly large hole?
Paul would struggle to squeeze through it, being as big as he is. You'd have to get on your hand and knees to like really crawl through, almost on your belly.
Oh god. Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
not for Paul then.
But definitely not for me. Fuck that shit.
Can everyone see the house here? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the way the layers work in this. It's not always clear to me which one's actually been shown. But yes, so Sanix Gardens is just off Alexandra Parade. There's like a squared U shape of a street. Whereas the rest of the houses around here are mostly like low-income tenements. This street are these larger sandstone buildings. They all have their own driveway, their own garden. Obviously, it's very wealthy people that live here. And the address you have for Arkwright, well, you can find the plaque on the front pillar of the main gate, where it's the Arkwright House. But I mean, compared to the other buildings in this street, it looks pretty much the same. The design's pretty similar, the garden's well kept. And there's nothing outwardly nefarious about it. So, what would you like to do?
I think if we were hoping to speak to Sir Arkwright, we would need some a strong premise to try and gain access to the place. I don't think we would get very far by just turning up, and I mean we could try just winging it, but I don't know if we would get very far that way.
Yeah, I definitely don't know about talking to Arkwright, but
Yeah, I think the chances that he would see us if he's become a bit of a recluse is maybe unlikely, but I don't know if there was some other reason that we could gain access to the premises, but I'm not sure what that might be.
Does it look? Does it look? Oh, sorry. I was going to say, does it look like anyone's home?
I mean, it's still quite daylight at the moment. They wouldn't have lights on. But yeah, you might be able to see some like gas light or electrical lights that are on the inside. Perhaps in the hallway through the front door.
What's our story, by the way? Just to, when we go to knock on the door.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we might be as well try and look for something that might give us a clue first as to what might get us into the house, but what that might be, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a shame we don't have Shy's character. If we had a police officer with us, we might be able to get some kind of leverage.
Speaking of which, why don't you give me a 2 dice roll, Finlay? Nah, I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, that's not cool.
Finlay, can you not, you know how you were saying about your documents and stuff, and I know that you can't do that just now, but, when you were saying about faking documents and identification, would you not be able to, can we not look up something to, like in one of the sort of Glasgow, areas, as in say that we're connected to some family or something?
We could try to procure something that would give us access. Yeah, that's probably the best thing for it. If we can come up with something that we could use for that, that's probably the best way forward at this point, I think.
Are we quite near the Glasgow Register office?
You can walk back to the city chambers. Like what, half an hour? Probably a lot more than half an hour.
I was thinking, actually, what our story could be is, they work in the hospital and things like that. So could our story not be that, that for example, Kane, you could be like a trainee, trying to get your degree in medicine or something? I know that's far stretching, but we could just say, oh, we know Dr. John Buchanan of Glasgow University, and just like sort of flag it that way.
And what?
Or maybe you are thinking about studying medicine, and you want to talk to someone regarding that.
So rather than talk to someone at the hospital, I'm going to talk to this random recluse with a disorder.
I suppose.
I mean, I'm not exactly the most intelligent person here, but even that to me sounds a little unlikely.
Or I could use the archaeological background because, historical building and stuff like that,
I mean, this is not a very historical building at all. This
Yeah.
is fairly recently built, Edwardian, Victorian.
Or we could ask to use the phone.
To be fair, that probably has a higher chance of success than some of the other suggestions, to be honest.
What were you, Paul? What are you thinking? You there, Cal? Callum? I guess he's not there.
I think Discord is cursed tonight.
Yeah, I've been knocked out a couple of times.
Sorry, couple of minutes. My mum's on the phone.
Yeah, fair enough. Grab me a little snack.
Yeah, I'll get a drink as well.
Okay, right. I apologize for that. Is anyone still here?
Yeah, they just went and grabbed drinks and stuff.
Okay, so what did I miss, Keen? Because my mum decided she wanted to talk to me about all of her classes, which was a lovely phone call where I was trying to say, Mum, I'm busy. Mum, I'm busy.
What's the last thing you remember that you caught?
The last part, because I was trying to listen while the phone call was going on, was the hole, which was slightly too big for Paul.
Okay, so we're now standing basically outside of Arkwright's, the House of Arkwright, in the Sanix Gardens, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to get inside or get access, or what's our story for knocking on the door? So far, the only one that has a reasonable amount of success has been, let's just ask him for the phone, if we can borrow his phone.
Sort of, Paul will look at yourselves like, Cian, we're both labourers. We can just say that we need to do some work on the roof.
Yeah, but what if he didn't ask for that?
Do you think Arkwright's going to answer the door?
You know, that's fair enough. Yeah, this whole head injury and also the craziness of the past few days have got to me.
I think we should say about the phone situation, and maybe then say about also use the bathroom when we're in there.
As Paul back.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just catching him up.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I was just asking Paul what you were thinking.
So Paul's thoughts were we could potentially be labourers trying to go into the building. It's unlikely Mr. Arkwright's going to come and answer the door and he's going to be all, oh no, I didn't ask for the labourers. So look at the size of this house. It's going to be a servant.
Potentially some sort of help that's supposed to be there. Sure, so you're going to go up to the door regardless. Everyone's here, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a big black iron plate and there's a white button in the centre that says push. You push the doorbell and it's a big ding dong. And there's a moment of inactivity. There's yelling coming from inside. And then you see a woman with like an apron around her and one of those maid hats on, hurriedly coming down the stairs to open the door. She opens the door, kind of brushes herself quickly, and then composes herself. Yes, how can I help you?
Laura, do you want to go with the phone or is Paul leading the way?
Paul, you lead the way.
Right. Hello there. We're just here to do sort of the roof work to get this sorted out, to get the slates all put in place. We're just here for just checking it over, make sure everything's in order. I'm sure you know, won't be a jiffy. We'll just be up there and out, no bother. Be nice and fast for you.
The roof needs repaired? I wasn't aware of that. And then you hear a man's voice shouting from upstairs. Mary, get your arse in here! She looks kind of annoyed and frustrated and nervous at the same time. Her eyes go wide. She looks up to the side and then back at you guys and then up to the side again. Paul, do you want to roll? What's your appearance?
I think he probably looks like general labouring or sort of worksman's clothes. Sort of like, you know, like kind of like dungaree style and a sort of the shirt and stuff like that, the dishevelled shirt.
I mean, a dice actually. 1 dice. If you want to roll 1 dice for me. I'm not sure you're really meant to be here. Okay, don't come in the house if you can help it. I'll be back in a moment. And she leaves the door open and she runs back up the stairs.
So Paul goes, of course, madam, we'll just wait right here. And sort of just watching the madam, as soon as she's out of eyeshot, looks at Mildred, right, now.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So the hallway is this, large panelled wood hallway. Red carpets are all embroidered. There's the odd painting here and there. The lights are all electrical and new. There's a stairway going up one side. There's a room to the left, a room to the right, a room at the far end of the corridor. What do you want to do?
Can I check for spot hidden?
What are you looking for?
Just if there's any other sides, like basement or anything.
Sure, roll 2 dice. There's no secret passages, there's no doors or anything you can see that are sort of secreted in any way. There's not a basement door like there was in that other house under the stairway.
Was going to ask as well, is there any paintings on the walls?
Yeah, there's a couple of paintings at the end of the hallway. And there's one next to the stairs. The one next to the stairs is a landscape portrait, which sounds conflicting, but...
Do we notice anything strange about any of the paintings?
No, they look quite ordinary. Well, like I said, one's of a landscape, you know, it's all mountains and lakes. The other one looks like to be a family member of some sort. It's a young man, finely dressed, with like the kilt spore and 1 foot up on top of a trophy.
Do we want to enter one of the rooms?
Yeah, if we can find like a study or something real quick.
Yeah.
So one front room is clearly a sitting room. The other front room looks to be also a kind of sitting room, but it's got more tables, so it's maybe actually used. At the far back you find the kitchen on the one side, and it has a rear door entrance. The other rear one looks to be a study or a library of some sort. There's a lot of books, there's a desk.
Maybe the study room. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you all looking around for stuff in this room?
I think like maybe 2 in the hall looking out, and then 2 in the room. Who else has got library use or spot hidden?
I've got both, so...
Oh, I've also got spot hidden.
Yeah, I've got library use and spot hidden as well.
So Finlay and Mildred in the room, Paul and Cian in the hallway.
Yep.
Alright, Finlay, you will roll 2 dice. Mildred, you will roll 1 dice. Just as well, you had help.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
And you two that are outside, you only roll 1 dice each. That is Paul and Cian.
Hey, I finally rolled something good.
Yay.
Yes, take 5 insanity.
Okay, Mildred, being that you are experienced with archaeological finds and digs and sites and such, you can see that some of the papers, the writing that's been left out on the desk is the organisation papers for an archaeological dig. You don't have time to read it in detail just now. Do you want to snatch it up to read later?
Yes.
So you grab those and pocket them into your bag. Just as you're doing so, Cian, you can see the woman, just at the angle you're at, you can see her almost before you can hear her, walking along the top balcony towards the stairs.
Okay, yeah, that's whenever Cian will just like wave at everybody like, we gotta go, we gotta go.
Yeah, I think we should get out while we got the opportunity.
Are you diving at the back door, or are you going to run towards the front door?
I think we maybe go for the back door. It sounds like a...
And are you just like running out, or, you know, because she'll hear you if you're running, or do you want to sneak out, or do you want to blag your way out?
Maybe go for the sneak out option personally, but I don't know. What do you think?
Sneak out seems logical.
Yeah, if it seems like she's gonna see us, Cian's gonna try to run interference before she spots Finlay and Mildred, and just try to, like, you know, try to run interference and play a distraction if she looks like she might catch us.
Yeah, like Paul will then start talking about the paintings to Cian and stuff like that. If she's starting to get visible and start asking questions directly to the woman, it's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. These paintings look fantastic.
Okay, so you two sort of stand in the hall, interception, distraction, so the other two can sneak out the kitchen. Yes? Sound good?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so Paul and Keen roll me 1 dice each. So Paul, you're talking, like you said, about paintings and such, and that draws her attention, and she like comes downstairs hurriedly, obviously agitated. And then Keen, she like hears your voice in reply, and she gets a bit of a smile on her face, and she starts to fix her hair. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I said you couldn't be in here. Oh, hello.
Sweet talker, Kian.
Sorry, hang on just 1 second. All right, I'm back. So she seemed to like fancy herself up when she heard my voice.
When she spots you and she hears your voice, yes.
I was like, oh yeah, sorry, I was just admiring the artwork. My friend here couldn't help himself.
That's fantastic work. I was just telling him about it. It's just absolutely cracking. It's like an absolute gorgeous gallery here.
Oh yes, they're the master's work. He has quite a lot of them. Oh, would you like? There's more upstairs. Would you like to see them?
We don't want to take up too much of your time, especially if you're getting in trouble or anything. You know, my friend here was actually just saying that he might actually have the address wrong, so we're so sorry to barge in like this.
Oh no, and she keeps her voice low and quiet. It's no trouble at all. You just need to keep quiet so he doesn't hear you. He's a bit strophy.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure thing, love.
So she sneaks you two up the stairs quietly, and ushers you along the top floor, away from the direction where the man's voice was. You can hear like an old man sound grumbling and swearing to himself in one room off to the side. And she takes you along and like shows you some of the other paintings, and gives you a quick description of how old they are and the local artist that painted them, and how much the master paid for them. And she's definitely got that kind of flirtatious look in her eye when she's talking to Keen.
Yeah, no, Keen is fully playing into being distraction, so if Paul wants to do anything, yeah, Keen's trying to keep her attention as much as possible. He's like, wow, it's absolutely fascinating how this life must be, like, to be surrounded by all this gorgeous beauty, and Keen will give her a wink.
Yeah, she's not paying much attention to Paul whatsoever.
Alright, so Paul will just sort of play up the eye rolling kind of thing and sort of like saunter off to look at the paintings, but actually, you know, every so often look back to see if she's looking at him kind of thing, and probably not in any capacity. And he's just going to try and see if he finds anything that's not supposed to be there, something that stands out.
Nothing that stands out in the corridor. You turn like one of the handles of the doors to the rooms and it clicks because it's open.
So if he'll sort of push the door. He'll still stand in the hallway, but just sort of push the door just to see if open a crack, just so he has a look in kind of thing, while still keeping an eye over at Kian and stuff, just to make sure things are...
So crack open, the inside this room is painted a kind of pastel turquoise blue kind of colour. I mean, just as you kind of crack open, you hear an old man voice go, "Mary, is that you?"
From inside the room?
Yes.
So not a different old man.
It's the same voice.
Same voice.
Presumably this room is connected to the other room, and he's kind of in a position you can see both.
Sort of, Paul will back away from the door.
And you hear the shout louder, and you can hear it from the corridor this time. "Mary! Mary, what do you want now? Who is that at the door, Mary?"
Oh.
The young woman like, looks around, a little bit panicked, as if she's not quite sure what to do for a second.
Yeah, Keen will put his finger to his lips and kind of like, sure, like, you know, like, go ahead, take care of that, and, you know, come back, you know.
She like tiptoes across and then stands up and walks. It's no one, sir. Just someone selling some carpets. And you can hear him just like grumbling away to her again.
So I guess we can safely assume that that's Mr. Arkwright. Maybe.
So you have a space of time here, don't know how long, where you're kind of standing in the top floor yourself for a second.
Are there like other rooms kind of where me and her were standing, or?
Oh yes, definitely. There's doors to the rear of the building and to the front of the building.
Yeah, Keen will try the door nearest him and hopefully farthest away from the voice.
So there's a smaller room which is a washroom, which is a bathroom. And then beside that there's another one which is a bedroom.
Just take a quick glance in there for anything out of the ordinary.
Roll a dice for me.
Just the one or two?
Just one.
Hey!
There's a painting exactly like... Not exactly, sorry. Very similar to the painting that you saw in Rum. And there's a man who has a silver ring in one hand. And beside him is a handsome young man in full Scottish wear attire. This is the same painting of the man who's downstairs. But the second man in the painting with the ring is very like the painting that you saw in Rum Island, except this one does not have the face scratched out. And you can see a rather stern, pale-looking fellow with large eyes, a very pleasant smile, and a very thin black moustache.
Okay, real quick, because I know that I probably don't have a whole lot of time to go into too much detail, but first of all, any striking resemblance between this man and the burned man?
I think you could definitely see the resemblance in the facial structure and the large eyes. Of course, there is no facial hair on the burned man.
Right, okay.
But the eyes certainly have that kind of deep inkwell kind of draw to them that certainly seems familiar.
Okay, well, you know, try to commit that face to memory as much as possible, even though it might be a moot point. Who knows? Kian does kind of take a moment to like stare at the painting, just kind of like, wow, this I might have been talking to this man as like some sort of thing, not even human anymore, and all the craziness that happened on Rum.
Oh, well, why don't you roll 2 dice for me?
Oh no.
You're going to be using the lowest because you're not very smart. Yeah, you're fine.
Come on.
Next time you roll that, I want you to have +1.
Oh, okay.
So you're more likely to take stress from it.
Oh, okay.
So
this was a good roll?
that's good. So while he's poked his head into that room, Paul, do you want to stick your head into the one across the hall from it?
Yes. Just have a nosy.
Okay, this room is very strange. The curtains are drawn. They're not just drawn, they've been drawn and then like tied together so that they can't open. There's an electric light keeping it up. There's a large collection of books in here. There's a very strange incense kind of smell. There's like an old-fashioned looking iron chandelier hanging from the ceiling. It doesn't have any candles or lights on it. It just has these intricate horoscope sigil looking kind of design between the circle, the main circle of the iron. The furniture is arranged at all sorts of weird angles, and the walls are covered in parchment, tapestries, very old looking. They're all, you know, framed in glass frames like a photograph. And there's a myriad collection of small carved statues, some wood, some stone, some made of something else, of different sizes and shapes and textures.
Okay, let's start having a nosy, try to figure it out, because this is interesting.
So for you, I think that's 1 dice.
I like how the two people that were like the perfect ones to go on this investigation, we managed to sneak out, but now suddenly we're stuck in here getting more information.
Yes, you're sticking your head in a pod looking like, what the fuck is this place? And then you hear a man's voice from the hall. Who the bloody hell are you two? And you turn around and there's this decrepit, ancient looking, shriveled man in a wheelchair with the young woman standing behind him, you know, pushing the wheelchair.
We're here to check your pipes.
Aye, of course.
Are
Name's
you,
Paul.
Are you wearing the ring, Keen?
Oh no, that's that I've never put that on ever.
Okay. Pipes! What fucking pipes?
Just to make sure everything's up. We've had a few gas explosions in the area, so we're just here to make sure everything's up to order.
We didn't use gas here anymore. We use electricity.
Oof, we can see that. It's absolutely stunning. I gotta say, I love the artwork.
I mean, that does make our jobs a lot easier now that we, can tell.
Aye, definitely can be sure. But, sometimes there's old pipes that have been left over, so it always pays to make sure.
Do either of you have, like, Persuade or Fast Talk?
Nope, probably not.
Just checking, but most likely the answer is... No, but I have library use. I didn't realise I had that. But yeah. But he is quite intimidating.
Okay.
But he's not threatening.
So both of you roll 2 dice and take the lowest.
Five.
At the sound of your
safe,
Irish voice, Cian, he gives you that look that you've seen so many times. You know, that disapproving traitor of the Empire look that they give you.
Yep.
But with you, Paul, he looks up as if he's almost impressed by your physical stature alone. Well, I suppose you have to earn a living. Mary, you shouldn't be letting these people in, you know that. Alright then, the two of you, off you go. Get out of here.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you very much. Are you sure you don't want us to just make sure that there's no supply?
Grumble.
Won't take too long, sir. You didn't want your house to go kaboom. I mean, that's what happened down the road to the Mr. Smiths. Well, I say down the road.
That's
like a few miles away.
So he kind of looks at you with like one good eye. He's like, I suppose you'll be needed into the basement then.
That's where the...
I was just saying, that's probably for the best if that's where the pipes are.
Mary, I don't like them in the basement. Has it been cleaned? She like takes a visible hard gulp. And said, "Yes, sir. It's perfectly clean." Very well. Show them down. And she does a little bow and goes past them, and takes you downstairs into the kitchen. Opens the door. There's another door immediately behind that door, and she takes out a set of keys and starts unlocking the 3 or 4 locks required to open the door.
So she's left him up in the hall, right?
Yes.
Okay, real quick, just because I'm feeling spiteful at the moment, as soon as we're out of earshot, is there anything I can quickly swipe off of, like a table or, just something small that I could quickly put into a pocket?
Yes, roll 2 dice. Yes, there's a little kind of brass and silver ornament. That looks like it's probably worth a few shillings that you just snatch up.
Yeah, might as well, not make a liar of the man. Give him something to complain about.
Yes, so when she's opened this basement, she flicks the light, and the electric lights fizzle and hiss and then come on. You can see down to basement, it's like bare brickwork. There's a very potent smell of cleaning products when it opens. It's down there, on the right. You should be able to find the fuse box and any utilities you need. She stands there for a second and drums her fingers. I'll wait up here for you. And she looks at you, Kane, with a look of concern, and she's like, don't be too long.
Yeah, Kian's going to just quickly look at her and, give as much of a fake confident grin as he can and a wink as well, and, yeah, just like, don't worry, I'll be right out, no worries.
So you descend the wooden steps, and it's a very large, quite deep basement. It extends almost the whole area of the house. The walls are bare brick, been painted black. And the windows have been like filled in, bricked over, so there's no natural light. It's a lot of people would expect to have like storage or coal or something down here. It's utterly bare. It's definitely been scrubbed clean very recently. There's not even any dust or dirt or grime or anything on the floor.
So I think, Paul will sort of look around at how clean it is and check to see if there are any areas more clean than others. If that makes sense, like anything area that's it's worn down from scrubbing.
Give me a 1 dice roll.
Yeah, I think I'll help with that as well if I can.
Sure. Give me another dice.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
You're nailing it, man. Yeah, Paul, so you give the instruction because you got the suspect and you're looking around. Keen, you find a spot, a sort of open corner of one end around the side of the stairs, and it has been really scrubbed, as in like the black paint that's over the bricks is being kind of scrubbed off. And you can see underneath that telltale sort of crust that is dried blood underneath the paint.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, Kian will just sort of wordlessly show Paul where the crust
Paul
is.
gives a sort of the quiet nod as he's looking down exactly where you are of, yeah, I see it.
Keen, can you roll 2 dice for me? I'm going to add 1 to
Why?
Okay, so 3 becomes a 4. You, Kian, you have just like a flash in your mind of chanting, people in robes, in the darkness. The darkness that crawled over your brain, seeped into your eyes and took hold of your body. The darkness that you can feel pulsating through all the nervous system in your body, and then it recoiling to this little pit at the rear of your brain, the hippocampus. And you can almost quite remember the people in this room speaking your name to call you to them. And then it passes.
Oh, that's fucked. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, Kian's just kind of like freeze and blink while he's having this episode.
And sort of Paul will sort of see this, furrow his brow, and reach over to grab his shoulder, and if he can, sort of shake him, just to see, not saying anything, because obviously he knows who's up the top of the stairs, but just gently shake him, just to sort of get him back in this world.
Something's very, very not right here.
I think we've seen enough to get a worry. Sort of, Paul sort of stands back up proper to his height as he looks around the rest of the room after being. Oh, goodness knows what happened here.
Did I get a sense of, like, was that like a premonition or just like a hallucination? Or would I even tell the difference?
It felt like a memory.
Okay, felt like memory, okay. And it was specifically my name, Kian.
It might not have been the words Kian, but it felt like it was your name.
Okay, so a general feeling of being called, okay. Okay, well, yeah, I guess if there's nothing else to be seen, because they've already cleaned it as best they could, I guess make a quick show of, like, tapping on pipes or whatever.
Yes, like I said, there's a fuse box off to one side, and the main gas pipe which comes in the building to feed the stove and whatnot. And then probably some water pipes.
Silly question, right? As he approaches the stove or the fire area, is there anywhere that perhaps things could be thrown into the fire? Or is it entirely sealed?
You mean when you go back up to the kitchen?
Oh no, I was meaning like the burner that's down there.
Oh,
you meant
furnace.
the stove and the...
I meant
yes,
the
if there's a
stove, but
furnace down there.
I meant the stove, but you're right, there would be a furnace for like heating.
Yeah, so that was the thing. So if there's a furnace for heating, is there a sort of a part where something could be opened on it and things put in?
Certainly.
I imagine if it's off, he'll try sort of like, he will do the cautious of like opening it up to have a look inside to see if there's...
Do you want to grab like the poker and poke around in the ash?
Yes.
Okay, roll me a dice.
I lose the poker.
You poke around, and you know there's the stuff that you know you can recognize when it's like charcoaled wood because it's soft and it gets powdery and maybe crumbles. There's a couple of bits in there that aren't quite so soft and not so wooden feeling or sounding when you tap the poker against them. But just as you're doing that, you hear the maid shouting from the stair. Is everything okay down there, gentlemen?
Just making sure that everything's burning properly as it should and things are looking fine. And sort of Paul will turn to Cian and said, "Everything good on your side?"
Yeah, everything's working fine down here.
Right. Well, we best be on our way.
Yep, so you go back upstairs, meet the maid. She's very eager to get that door closed and lock it up again and then close the other door off it. And then she opens up the kitchen door. She says, the two of you better make yourselves scarce. He gets agitated when people are around too long.
Paul will sort of, nod his head. It's like, fair enough. I understand when our welcome's been exhausted.
And
Keen, my friend.
Sorry, and Keen, as you're leaving, she's like, so, do you like to go drinking at the weekend?
Of course I do. Of course I do. I was just about to ask you the same thing.
Oh, whereabouts do you go?
Well, I'm not usually from Glasgow. I live more closer to Edinburgh, but oh, your favorite place to drink would be just fine for me.
Oh, okay, and she gives you the name of a pub that she likes to drink at. And says, hopefully, maybe she'll see you there sometime.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yes, and then you leave and she closes the door behind you.
Yeah.
And then you can meet up with them and tell the other two whatever you like.
Okay, so
Questionable things being burned in the furnace, blood in the basement. Obviously, Paul didn't see the artwork that Kean saw, but
well, it didn't get that far. But anyways, no. I did. I really think that basement's where they've done some rituals. That might be where they're doing the killings.
They've came back outside now, hun, so they're just like telling you in Finley.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
you were saying that these are where they're doing the rituals and the killings.
I can't explain it. We found blood in the basement, but they've tried their best to clean it as much as possible. We couldn't find anything else down there, but whenever we found the blood, I just have this feeling.
Did you see anything as well in the house that you felt that there was, any connection to Michael Thomas?
Oh wait, was it Kean that saw the painting or Paul?
Kean.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I was distracted by the vision. Kean will tell her about the painting in that one room. It's like he definitely looked. I could definitely see the resemblance between him and the burned man. So I think Reverend Thomas died that day.
Well, I suppose at least we can sort of tick that off, can't we? What was the guy like? What was the sort of owner of the house like?
Decrepit, old, rather mean. Fucking loyalist.
Is it worth us checking out at night to see, as in not go into the house, but see if anybody enters the house?
It might, but I am quite concerned because the latest victim was a maid that worked here already, and it seems he's already got a replacement, so he might not even need to have anyone visit him.
What was the maid like? How was she? Did she seem okay?
Well, Kean's this year's got a date with her.
It's not a date yet, but, plans.
But it's
Hopefully.
an opportunity to ask questions without the master getting in the way. We can maybe find out why the basement's so scary.
Maybe you could ask her for a drink tonight. As in, say you're going with friends and if she would like to join.
I really don't think she's interested in you lot. No offense.
Well, we could just kind of be in the background in another table.
I understand that you were married, but have you ever gone on a date? With a group of friends just sort of sitting in the corner?
I know, but Yeah, we could just be like at the table, like and it's sort of hidden, but we could, if you went to the bathroom, we could then, one of them could ask you questions to ask her.
Mildred, I literally have a head injury and I'm really concerned for yours.
Okay. Okay, that's a bit far-fetched, okay, right, but are we not like wanting to save this woman's life? Because is she not going to be like the next sacrifice?
No, you misunderstand. I fully agree that her life's in danger, and I would really rather she not be the next victim. But how you're asking to go along and interrogate her on a fake date with me? Do you not see how that plan's a little iffy?
Don't be the awkward third wheel.
Well, we could be up at the bar. You could be, you could place her at the table and then go up to the drinks and then, just a coincidence. Hmm? Okay, I take that as a no.
I'm going to see the papers that you snatched up as well, Mildred, on this site that they're referring to. I'm going to paste into the Roll20. It's the Ardniki lime kilns. It's an old quarry, and the excavation has been financed by Arkwright.
So Arkwright is financing a new quarry called Ardniki Lime Kilns.
Right, financing a dig at the quarry. It's like an old abandoned quarry.
I did get the quarry. So.
And you recognise the name of the person leading the dig. It's Dr. Bennett.
And the person that's leading the dig is my arch enemy, Dr. Bennett, who stole the archaeological prize from me.
Does it indicate where the dig is being carried out? Does it say anything about where the lime kiln site is?
The lime kiln quarry is at the very far northern shore of Scotland. There is mention of that they're looking for a particular artifact, which they refer to as the stone.
Oh, is this my leg? And you have the stone, Finlay?
It's not referring to Malake, it's much further north than that.
Oh, so there might be another stone.
I mean, our stone looks exactly like the picture, doesn't it? Like, part of it missing?
Yes.
Could be a other half of it, or a piece of it.
I think this definitely gives us a lead to investigate in any case, but should we do anything else here in the meantime? I mean, do we want to... Dare I suggest, do we want to go back to the necropolis at night and see if there's any sign of this creature, or do you think that's just asking for trouble?
So I'm going to just wrap up for tonight's session, but if whatever you decide to do, you can certainly do that the next time.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, we could... Sorry, I was just gonna say, we could probably visit the cathedral again, just to maybe investigate the noises he's hearing, or scope out the necropolis, see if we can spot the creature.
We could ask the Reverend about the feather as well, that's another possibility.
Another possibility as well, after our Glasgow excursion, we could fish for information at the university. about this dig. As in he works at the university, Dr. Bennett.
Good. I definitely want to visit the pub that the maid told me about, just to hopefully meet her before her untimely demise. But I guess that's up to the storyteller.
She'll be fine. What are you worried about?
No, next week you'll just have an article, won't you? And she's like dead.
Oh, jeez.
That would
I
imply
do want
that
to make a point that if Kian does go to the pub, he's not informing anybody else. Don't want no, like, 4, 5, 6 wheels.
Mildred women accosting the women in the toilets with her gun.
Have you never done that? Like when someone's went on a date, like I've had that with friends. Like we've all just like sat at another table in case the date has went really bad. So like, you know, or
Yeah,
the
but
person doesn't show up.
I have had no friends that are willing to do that for me.
That's also not what Mildred was describing. You were talking about, like, yeah, while you're in the bathroom, Kian, we will go over to your date and randomly interrogate her. What?
Well, I wasn't saying interrogate her. I was saying, what's called get you to ask the questions if we're listening.
Yeah, what do you think I'm going to be doing on this date? Like, you think I'm actually hitting her up for a relationship or something?
There's something weird if that is actually going to be the case. I'd worry for John.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, he's Irish, so I fully expect him to be trying to get in our pants.
Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah, see?
I'm not denying it.
Right, okay, so that'll do for the next one. We'll pick up in 2 weeks for the next one. You can do what you want.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
See you next week.
See you next
Awesome
week.
game. Thank you.